Crow's Tale by Tom Barry. Colette had only recently left the nest. Her mum and dad were heartbroken to see her go, but nature called and she and her brothers had responded. They fled the nest as did all crows before and after them would. Now here she sat, alone on a telephone cable stretching high above a bare February field, thoughts of home, of comfort and safety, of being looked after and fed, filling her feathered head. Colette and her two brothers had spent some time together building family bonds, but they'd been in a hurry, it seemed, to live their own lives and had quickly found partners with whom to do just that, leaving Colette to do the same. She knew that this was the way nature intended it to be, but she couldn't help feeling lonely, lost and friendlessness. As she sat on the cable, looking out over as yet barren countryside, she hadn't yet had the nerve to impose herself into what was known as the strange English language as the murder of crows that settled in the big tree by the old ruin nearby. This happened every evening at the same time. The murder assembled above the huge old oak from every direction like an enormous black floating cloak. Then they ascended into its branches where they spent time gossiping above the events of the day until the silence gradually reasserted itself and they settled down for the night. Early in the morning, the sound of chatter would gradually grow until it seemed every crow in the tree had awoken and wanted a say in whatever had to be said. Eventually, the old tree would erupt as its inhabitants began to feel the need for breakfast and rose, almost as one, and left in search for food. Colette felt so alone watching this friendly gathering of her kin, to which she as yet didn't feel she belonged. Pangs of hunger began to assert themselves, and the need to find sustenance was coming, when she suddenly noticed that she was being observed from midway down the phone cable. A very erect, upright, strong sort of crow had arrived quietly, unannounced, and was observing her with what appeared to be interest. This was her first encounter with a strange male, and it gave her something of a fright. Thankfully, the breeze ruffled her feathers a little, helping to disguise the way her heart had suddenly started to beat. Not only did he appear strong and upright, but he had a proud bearing. The way he held his strong, sharp beak at a slight upward angle. The tilt of his head as he opened gazed at her sent a message that this was a crow she need not be afraid of. Rather, she hoped, he would say something, and he did. "My name is Caw," he announced in a firm voice. I was about to go hunting when I saw you sitting there all by yourself. I must say, I have never seen a girl so beautiful as I am beholding. The sheen of your feathers was what first caught my eye as I flew over. I was so taken by your solitary beauty, and I hope you don't mind by my telling you this. I felt that I had to talk to you." As he spoke, he drew nearer. His voice was deep and melodic. Colette couldn't help but accept his sincerity, while at the same time wondering, was he simply flattering her in order to gain some advantage or other? How many times had Mum and Dad warned her to be careful of sweet-talking male crows? Mind, she thought, he is a handsome crow, I must say, and then added with a note of uncertainty, "My name is Colette, and I've just flown the nest. My two brothers left with me, but they have now gone their separate ways. I suppose I must do the same, would you say?" Sidling up a little closer, Caw replied, "I think you have the most beautiful eyes, like liquid jet. Your feathers shimmer in the light like no crow I've ever seen. Your beak is so long and beautiful, your posture leaves me breathless." Then, almost as an aside from behind a half-raised wing, he added, "Will you let me look after you?" Turning his head to look directly into her dark penetrating eyes, he continued in an entreating kind of way, "I'm lonely too, like you. I've flown the nest and long to build one of my own, filling it with a family. Oh, say you will come with me and make Caw a very happy crow." Colette was finding it hard to resist such blandishments and entreaties, while at the same time knowing that starting a home and a family were what nature intended. She was thinking hard as she drew near his proud frame. "I feel so at ease with this crow, so comfortable. He's good-looking, proud, strong, and I feel very sincere. Yes, Caw, she replied, turning to rub her majestic beak against his strong, proud beak. Yes, I'm so glad we met. Caw was so overjoyed that he took off at speed and flew hoops and whirls while cawing at the top of his voice. She's mine. I've found the girl of my dreams, and she's agreed to let me look after her. Colette watched in amazement as Caw darted through telegraph wires, swooping through hedges and over trees, smiling as she thought, and this is for me. Oh, I know we are going to be very happy. No one had to tell her that crows are monogamous and that herself and Caw would bond for life. Caw understood that Colette knew very little about fending for herself and invited her to scavenge with him. Come on, he invited cheerfully. Let's go get something to eat. I can see that you need something to fill you up. Come on, you just follow me and watch what I do. They flew over barren fields and empty dales until they reached a large housing estate. Right, here we are, my love, called Caw happily. This is where we get our fill of a whole range of succulent delights. Just stay with me. This is Dustbin Day, the day the humans get rid of the things they don't want, and we come along and help ourselves to all kinds of tasty morsels. Flying beside Caw, Colette had never seen so many houses bunched together. The odd lonely farmhouse or outbuildings, but row after row of similar houses were new to her. A little frightened, even with Caw's assurance, she asked, Are you sure the humans will let us help ourselves to their food? What if they don't like us and say we are stealing from them? Don't worry, Caw answered merrily. They are too slow to catch us. Why, we just take ourselves out of it and wait on a nearest roof or tree till the coast is clear again. With that, Caw spied a large dustbin and plastic bags bulging out from under the lid that was only half closed. They both descended smoothly, and following Caw's encouragement, Colette landed on the edge of the dustbin and watched as Caw began to dig his powerful beak into the bulging plastic bags. In no time, they'd eaten more than their fill of sorts of wonderful tidbits, things that Colette had never seen, never mind tasted, before. She looked in wonder and love at Caw and thought, this crow is so strong, so self-assured and so caring. Her parents' warnings came to mind, but she dismissed them quickly, thinking, I am in love with Caw and Caw loves me. Right then, said Caw, if my love has had sufficiency of delicacies and is properly sated, I will take you to meet some crows that I'm sure you're going to like and will love you. They flew back from whence they'd come, and before Colette could protest, had flown right into the thick of the returning crows. They joined the huge murder of circling birds as they assembled above the huge old oak, before lighting onto its stout branches for the night. Colette, instead of feeling out of place as she had thought, found herself telling any crow near enough or only half listening about her day, her journey to where so many humans lived, and breathlessly about Caw. Caw, she noticed, while staying close, seemed to know everyone, and everyone in turn seemed to know him. A few called out to Colette in jest, making sure that Caw could hear them. How can someone as lovely as you get stuck with such an ugly brute as Caw? Colette had never dreamed of being so happy. She felt wanted. She was among friends, and she had Caw. She called back happily. My mum told me that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I love Caw. They aligned together on a comfortable branch, looked into each other's eyes and rubbed the beaks, then leaning cosily together, fell asleep amongst the fading chatter.